Hey, what's going on, guys? Bori Afolabi here, and it's that time, the time I've been waiting for a long time, and that is guitars. I'm very, very, very excited to get to this point. Why? Because when you track guitars, it's kind of like painting a house, you know what I mean? You've done all the drywall, you've done everything before that, you know, your flooring and everything like that, but the final coat of paint, you know what I mean, just kind of, it validates everything else and it glues everything else together. So that's how I feel about guitars, and it's been really hard to maintain discipline not to jump ahead and do that first, you know, but, you know, I was talking about building a foundation with the bass and drums properly. Well, that part is done, so now it's time to do guitars. I'm super pumped to do it. I'm just going to show you guys a little bit of how I set things up and how I'm achieving this goal, okay? So check this out. Let's see. So I've got a bunch of guitars, obviously. For this track and for the song I'm working on right now, I'm sticking to mainly the Tele sound. A lot of the high-end twang. Telecasters are great for that. And I'm using the Strat as well for some other areas of the song, but the main sound is coming from that. I'm actually working on this right now. And that's pretty much it for this song. Now, as far as the... let me just open the door here. As far as the actual... amp and recording process goes, turn the light on. So what I have, I'm using two microphones. I'm using a Cascade ribbon microphone. It's a Cascade fathead ribbon. It's the same one I used on the overhead for the drums. And I'm also using the Sennheiser MD421, and it's also a great microphone. They're both really good for different applications. This one, the ribbon, has a darker sound, so it kind of tames the high frequencies and the high harsh frequencies of a guitar amp, and this one captures more of that high frequency stuff. But they're both great mics, and you'll notice that they're a certain distance from the cabinet for a reason, and that reason, you'll see the piece of tape here. I put a piece of tape on it because there's something in recording for you tech guys or audio guys. You obviously know what this is. It's phasing, and I wanted to make sure there's no phasing. And basically what phasing is like, let me see. So let's say, best way to describe phasing, quick lesson here. Phasing is when you have, because audio travels, right, at a certain speed, right? Sound has a speed. And so if something is coming out of a sound source and it's heading into a microphone, if there's a microphone closer to the sound source than another, so say you have two microphones and one is closer to the sound source than the other, the sound will hit the closer one first, and then it'll also hit the further one second or last, right? Now that difference in timing of the sound source hitting the microphones creates something called phasing. Why? Because it basically... how do I explain this? So because they don't hit at the same time, they cancel out. If that makes sense, the sound will cancel out. So when you hear someone talk about phasing or phase cancellation, that's essentially what they're describing. So to avoid phasing, what you want to do is make sure that your microphones are spaced or measured properly so that the sound source, the distance from the sound source and the microphones, if you're using two microphones or more, is hits the microphones at the same time. So you want them lined up properly. So what I did in this case, I looked into the microphone and I found where the actual diaphragm was. And this one is a moving coil. This one is a ribbon. But I located their spot, and I placed them equal distance from the sound source, the cabinet. And then what I did to make sure they were actually lined up is I went into my DAW or digital audio workstation, and I took the audio file. Let's just look at this one here. And what I did was I zoomed in really, really, like I zoomed in a lot so you can see the wave. And once you see it, okay, you can see that one of them is, this is one microphone and this is the other microphone. And when you zoom in, you'll notice that you have these waves, right? These little waves. And you want them to look the same. So when this one goes up, you want this one also to go up on the other microphone. And when this one goes down, you want this also to go down. So, right? It's I can't get too crazy about it right now, but look into it if you want to know more. It's really important to get your phasing right, especially with guitars. so that when you go to do the mixing, or when you send your stuff off to an engineer to mix, they're not struggling with phasing all day. Okay, so that's a quick phasing lesson, and that's what I'm doing for guitars. And I'm also I'm running everything through this preamp. It's the Universal Audio 4710B. I'm just using the first 2 channels on it. It's beautiful. It does the job great. And as far as the actual amplification of the guitar, I'm using my Jet City. It's made by or designed by Soldano. It's a Jet City 20 watt head, and it's fantastic. It's just it's like a boutique kind of style amp. It's just raw tubes, no effects, nothing, just very basic, but it's got that raw boutique tube sound, and I love it. So I'll also be using the Vox AC4, but right now on this song, this seems to be the best, and it sounds fantastic. So yeah, that's more or less it. I will keep you guys updated. Thanks.